Listen,
Never in my life associated the word boring with baseball.
We know what's up.
Me? Yeah. Famous? Yeah.
And I'm like giddy over there smiling like, we're about to win this shit.
Did everyone give you crap? Give me a good host story.
I'm not picking it up.
We both love the game.
we talk about it every day.
Can't get enough baseball.
Having some popcorn, you're fooling around your phone.
I'd have to wait in line for 3 hours.
Hang on, because it's about to be a wild ride.
There's no human being I'd rather be talking to right now than Zach Eflin. In fact, I always appreciate you stopping by and talking. I had picked you for great things last year, and thank you for making me look really, really smart. But it's, in all sincerity, it's like you've on quite a run here last couple of years, and as we sit here in an Orioles uniform, last time we did a Rays uniform, you must feel pretty good. I mean, you must feel pretty good about sort of your lot in life, I guess, right?
Yeah, we're excited. The season of life we're in right now. Obviously, it was a little bittersweet growing up a Rays fan, being traded from them, but we're extremely happy to be here in the middle of a pennant race and being able to play with some friends that I've known. And I went to high school with Mountcastle, so it was really cool to put on the same jersey as him.
Yeah.
But got all our family up a couple days ago, so everything's kind of calmed down a little bit and really starting to settle.
Well, let's talk a little bit. I've talked to a lot of guys about the chaos of the trade deadline, right? First off, and I know you've probably been asked this, but did you see it coming? I mean, there's rumors, there's all that, but did you legit see it coming?
I knew something was going to happen if we weren't. There was kind of a stretch right after the All-Star break that we really needed to get on our horse and start winning some games to throw us in contention for some things. And had that not happened, then we were going to, kind of explore options on the trade market. And I was made aware if things might happen and might not happen, so it wasn't like I was blindsided.
So they were in communication, because sometimes you don't know, right?
Yeah. I wasn't blindsided by any means, which I respect so much, especially with a very young family and having to up and leave everything. But yeah, for the most part, we kind of had an idea something was going to go down.
So let's go back to your time in Tampa. And we talked a little bit about it last year, about sort of the Tampa, the secret sauce and everything, which is, it's almost like a cliche, right? It's like throw strike one, throw your best pitch. But still, I think there is more to it, and I do think that it's great that you sort of flourished in that system. And now it's a new system, and you're flourishing with the Baltimore. But this reflect a little, if you can, about how you evolved as a pitcher, like over that time.
Yeah, I think it starts and ends with the relationship that guys build with Kyle Snyder. He's a rock star in terms of knowing everything about pitching and how the body works and arm slots and how you grip the baseball, all the numbers that go into it. But just on a personal note, he's so good at starting and maintaining relationships with guys that just he has access to your full trust, which is all you can ever dream of as a pitching coach. He's one of those guys that when he speaks, you listen, and he's been so good for my career, and it was one of the main reasons why I wanted to go to Tampa, was to go down and work with Snyder and develop as a pitcher and continue to learn the game. And I'm forever grateful for not only everything that happened on the baseball side, but just the person side and the relationship side that we were able to.
It's funny you say that, because I may have mentioned to this last time we talked. I talked to Jake Diekman, and he said something that always stuck with me, which was, you're hearing the message, a similar message a lot, but it's different when you hear it from them.
Yep.
And when them, I think that, to your point, from Snides, like I've known Snides for a long time, but to hear it from this guy and the way he delivers it too, is a little bit different. I mean, would that be accurate?
Yeah, absolutely. He's got such a good way of being able to communicate to any and all players and saying things, whether it be a grip change or what we're looking for numbers-wise on a certain pitch. He's so good at being able to communicate that regardless of any understanding of analytics or anything. For me personally, I was really always anti-analytics until I got to Tampa.
Really?
I really wanted to start.
Yet you signed with Tampa.
Exactly. I felt like I needed to dive into something deeper. And I'm such a feel-based pitcher with my grips, and I'm always changing grips and stuff, and I thought it'd be a really good place for me to go down and continue to learn the game, especially from Snyder. So it was a great marriage of things, not only on the personal level, but on a baseball level, just being able to understand how the ball manipulates in your hands and to match that up with, what X and Y axis I'm looking for from a certain arm slot. And
can you imagine saying what you just said, like even 3 years ago?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I would have looked at the numbers and threw them away.
Really?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yep.
So I'd have to ask about, when you say anti-analytics, it's not to say that, I don't think the Phillies, they had analytics, right?
Yeah, no, they had it. I think it was kind of the way that it was brought to us 4 or 5 years ago in Philly. And Caleb Cotham, who's there right now in Philly, he got there. His first year was my last year in Philly, so we didn't necessarily get a huge chance to dive into the numbers or anything because I had already been like anti-analytics.
Yeah.
But he's an absolute rock star too. He's so good with the numbers and such a good pitching coach, and everybody raves about him. He's such a good person too. He reminds me so much of Snyder, and I wish I would have had that opportunity to kind of dive into the more statistic and analytical side with him.
Isn't it interesting, like the communication and the delivering of it is so important.
Yeah.
And you really don't have to name names, but when you first, like you said, when you first are introduced to this, however it was delivered or communicated, it might have hit for some guys, but it didn't hit for you. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It has to hit for someone to accept it, it has to hit the right way.
It's got to be a two-way street.
Yeah,
for sure.
So when you do go to Tampa and you, like you said, I want to go there because I want to learn, which is good for you.
Yeah.
We all, because a lot of guys like, oh, I'm good.
Yep.
Like, the good reason you signed me, I'm good.
Yep.
When was it? How was that early on? Did you really have to feel like, okay, I have to go to the classroom, I have to go to summer school, I have to dig deeper on this and make an effort to do this?
That's a really good question. Because when I first got to Tampa, all the pitchers and everything felt like they were speaking in a foreign language to me.
Really?
Yeah, there's just like the way they talked and everything. I couldn't understand anything. So it was like working with the pitching guys, working with Snyder, trying to understand what the X and Y axis was in terms of, arm angles and what's good for my slot and what's good for other people's slots. So there's still a lot of things I have no idea about.
You're still blowing me away with the X and Y axis.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I think it was so important for me to understand that with how much I manipulate the ball and how field-based of a pitcher I am. So it took some getting used to, and it wasn't something that they rushed on me or anything. I think they were trying to figure out who I was as a person first before they introduced anything. And I pretty much, as soon as I got there, I was like, I'm an open book. I'm trying to learn any and everything. So anything you guys have for me, please don't hesitate to tell me, because I'm trying to learn the game.
When did it feel like it wasn't a foreign language for you? How deep into the season?
It probably took me a month or two.
Okay.
It was when...
And then you see results, right?
Yeah. And then I saw results. It was more so just trying to figure out what the numbers meant for the pitches that I had, and then we started throwing a sweeper. And that really kind of made me dive in a lot deeper, because I was trying a new pitch. I was searching for getting to this certain number on the x-axis and this certain number on the y-axis.
How deep in the season was that?
This had to have been 2 or 3 months into the season, I think.
All right, okay.
But yeah, so it was kind of like a gradual process, but I'm so thankful for it.
So you get to the end of the year, and now you go into year 2 with them. Is there anything you said, all right, that was good, went pretty well, now I want to do this, or anything that you changed in the last, 5 or 6 months?
Nothing concrete or anything. It was more so they were a big fan of who I was as a pitcher. They didn't necessarily want me to change it all. So going into my second spring, we didn't really make any adjustments. We probably made an adjustment about a month into the season. I started throwing a circle change again, and just recently switched back to a splitter. So I'm always trying to our arm slots drop during the year, they raise during the year. Not everything's going to be the exact same every single start. So to kind of match that up with whether a circle change would work best at the time or a splitter would work best at the time is kind of something I'm always looking after. Same thing applies to a cutter, sinker. So just being aware of those numbers and applying it to real-time outings is,
You ever
big
wonder,
for me.
though, you clearly landed in the right spot, right?
Yeah, I feel like I did.
I mean, but sometimes some guys don't. I mean, sometimes you're searching for the right spot. It's clear. It must make you feel good. I'm just talking out loud.
Yeah, no, absolutely. If I wasn't going to re-sign in Philly, Tampa was the number one spot that I wanted to go to. Not only was my wife pregnant with twins and due a week before the first game of the season, but all the things I've heard about Kyle Snyder and the pitching side, and I felt like I was ready to scratch the surface on how to become a better pitcher. So being 2 hours away from home in Orlando, signing with Tampa meant the world while my wife was delivering twins, having help so close, and then marrying that with me wanting to continue to develop on a baseball level and pitching level was huge.
So flash forward, it's a cliche question. Where were you when you found out you were traded?
I was actually at the field. I was at the field in Tampa. I was shagging BP, and when you go out to shag BP, are you like? Yeah, I had told a couple guys that this might be my last BP. I had somewhat of an idea that there was a trade in the works with a couple teams, and went out, did my normal day. I made sure that I threw that day just in case I was traded before I threw, because I wanted to have.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, I wanted to be able to throw.
Oh, you wanted
make
to be
sure
throw with snipes.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I had a place to throw that day. Out at BP, one of the guys came out and said, "Hey, Cash wants to see you in the office," and it's like, "All right, boys." This is probably the last rodeo. Yeah, with a couple guys I was with, but yeah, that's how I found out.
When Baltimore is an interesting place because a lot is going on, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's much like with Tampa. So with Tampa, we say, well, what's the secret sauce in pitching? With Baltimore, really, it's like, oh my goodness, look at all these young players.
Yeah.
But I do think there's probably, and you can tell me better than I can, there's probably a lot of the stuff that we're talking about because of the front office is sort of that mindset, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So when you got here, what was that like in terms of because everybody approaches it differently? What was that like for you?
It was a very smooth and an awesome process. I was super thankful for the Orioles and giving me a chance to come here and compete in the middle of a pennant race. I think that's extremely special. Everybody I've talked to and everybody I've been around is just such A-plus people, which reminds me a lot of the Rays. And the system is very similar with the pitching side. So it's been a very easy and smooth transition from everybody being so welcoming to just having a really, really fun clubhouse and watching these young guys.
Yeah,
and
man.
Young
a lot
core.
of young guys winning games.
Yeah, just go out there and compete every single night and refuse to lose. It's a lot of fun to be a part of.
It's also, you got to experience it last year, but winning's good.
There's nothing better than winning. I'll tell you that. There's nothing better than winning.
Yeah, and the idea, and I remember, when we talked, and I talked to, Stives was the one actually who came on the podcast and said, "That's my guy. That's my guy." I don't even remember if he said it on the podcast. Maybe we were just talking, but I'm like, because we were talking about get on my back guys, the playoff, and it's like Zach has the mindset, has the stuff, and everything else, and to have that possibility again, like that's. I know you got a lot of things going on in your life, but still, that's a pretty big carrot, right?
100%. Nah, there's a lot, like you said, there's a lot going on in my life right now with the young kids, one on the way, moving, and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm addicted to competing and winning. I think that 2022 year that we went to the World Series kind of just opened up a new side of me and how much fun it was and how addicting it was to just continue to win and win in the playoffs and win in an awesome atmosphere, and everybody is just so fired up and it's such a good environment in the clubhouse, so much fun to be a part of. So to be able to have an opportunity to get back that is just truly special.
So now the last thing is you have found out that you're having a son.
Yes. Yep.
You have 3 girls. Congratulations.
Yep. Thank you.
You did not do a gender reveal.
Nope.
But we always if you ever have this situation arise, we have not done a baseballs and boring gender reveal yet.
Yeah.
I don't know what that would look like. But I was like, but no temptation to do like the dropping like a blue balloon from a helicopter. Or anything.
No, I think we're over those days.
Yeah. You're just like, let's go. Let's go.
Let's just get them out.
Yeah. Hey, listen, man. I'm so happy for you. It's so fun watching you pitch. And once again, for a second straight year, we will say you are a guy who is going to get to the end of the World Series and carry a team. So
thank you. I really appreciate that.
I see it coming. All
Thank
right.
you so
Thank
much.
you.